Hello, everyone. This is Pearly from HTC, and I'm so happy to be with you here today. We're going to talk about togetherness today, because that's what really nurtures us humans as a very social species. We really rely on each other to survive and to thrive. And when a pandemic made it very difficult for us to be together in person, technology and human ingenuity came to the rescue. And the world practically shifted overnight towards everything virtual. Anything, anyone that you want to be with, whether it's your grandparents, your teachers, your doctors, or investors, or lawyers, or friends, just about everyone. What do? We jump on a video call. Or better yet, as I would argue in this talk, jump into a virtual world together with enhanced sense of togetherness. As you expect, this past year of physical isolation has definitely buoyed a renewed interest in the virtual and immersive technologies, which we call XR. I thought it might be productive for us to define the virtuality continuum together, from the base reality, which is your actual reality that you see with your own eyes, to virtual reality at the other end of the spectrum, which is fully virtual, where you're fully immersed and transported to a completely different virtual world. In between, there could be different combination of augmented reality, of augmented virtuality, basically different combinations of virtual objects augmented the real reality, or the other way around. Here's a simple video to demonstrate this concept. So here you're in your real environment, but you have virtual objects. You can interact with the virtual colleague. You can go fully immersive into virtual reality, or you can pull up a portal in your environment and go travel between virtual and real. So in the near future, what we are really predicting is that you will be able to interact pretty seamlessly with different combinations of these realities. And that's really the vision of a very immersive and ubiquitous personal computing platform that not just replaces your smartphone today as a portal to your everything digital life, but also it may be even more integrated with us as humans. Maybe think augmented humans. So with new technology that continue to develop, we are now able to bring more of ourselves and our senses into the virtual worlds. Not only can you be fully immersed, the virtual worlds can also take cues from you. Eye tracking data, for example, are super useful for enabling foveated rendering, or eye interactions, or controller-free inputs. And there's face tracking data that can animate your virtual representation to express more of your natural expressions. And hand and finger tracking bring the sense of natural interaction and presence to the next level. And of course, there's full body tracking with simple trackers without the need of having an expensive motion capture setup to bring more of your moves into virtual reality. Of course, in development, there's also brain sensing technologies for mind control, or even, this is the next step, adaptive virtual experiences. But without going that far into the future, we can talk about today. And some of my favorite examples of people taking these creative expressions of themselves with full body biosensing and tracking is clearly happening in VR chat. There are literally thousands of user-generated worlds. There are endless possibilities, and I'm always awed by the creative expressions of people from all corners of the world. In fact, last summer, my team threw me a birthday party, and it felt like more than a birthday party because we traveled to 5 different worlds, doing so many different explorations, and every single moment of the champagne, the virtual cake, the fireworks, the islands, and every little thing that we did on that exploration together felt like an actual memory that we co-created together that I still vividly remember to this day. It wouldn't have been quite the same if that virtual birthday party was conducted over Zoom on a video call like this. The many financing rounds that were announced recently, like the $80 million for VR chat or $100 million for rec room are definitely validating that this concept of virtual world and the metaverse is here to stay. And it's not just for gaming or for personal moments, but even for very professional, productive use as well. So case on point, once the pandemic started, we had to switch most of our traditionally physical events into fully virtual. Here, for example, was our developer conference. We were set in this Vive auditorium overlooking the San Francisco Bay with blue angels soaring from above and presenters from all over the world beamed in. All the spatial audio effects also enable this real world serendipity moment of running into an old friend, making a new friend at the bar while you mingle. And 3D objects that come from different corners really augmented the presentation and the conference attending experience. We also work with the prestigious La Biennale to host the VR section of the Venice Film Festival fully in VR, boarding a gondola to arrive at the red carpet, the Venetian island of Lazzaretto Vecchio, to experience the very many selected projects was truly a magical experience. Because think about this, this used to be such an exclusive event. You have to be an invited VIP, you need to have the means to travel all the way to Venice. But now an event like this in last year and going into this year as well was made available to anyone in the comfort and safety of their living rooms, and even in VR lounge of many cultural institutions around the world. So that was really a very special memory. The Cannes Festival was another among many other festivals that we collaborated with in the past year. There was even a fashion show that's sponsored by Verizon called The Fabric of Reality, where you as the audience is taken onto an immersive journey to explore the story behind designers' collections. And this event was hosted inside the Museum of Other Realities, another incredible platform that we've had the good fortune of backing since early on, where artists can display immersive art and its endless possibilities. Still, some of my favorites, these out of this world art pieces are created by artists with simple 3D content creation tools that can be accessible by anybody. So I'm really a big fan of this idea to make creativity democratized with 3-dimensional creativity tools, and exclusivity made a lot more open and inclusive. So a big fan of that idea. While we're on this concept of arts and culture and how that intersects with VR, my 5-year-old daughter still fondly recounts the details of our last trip to Paris, which was really our last trip before the pandemic, where we launched a Mona Lisa VR in collaboration with the Louvre, going behind the glass to meet the famous La Joconde, but also to come to face with the genius mastermind, who's my personal hero, Leonardo da Vinci. This experience was not only magical, but it's still made available to the public today. Even without a VR headset, you can easily experience this immersive Mona Lisa experience on your smartphone, which really is a great foresight in hindsight on the Louvre's part. When the pandemic began, they had to close doors for many months and ended up bringing 500,000 of their collections online. But of course, there's nothing quite like the Mona Lisa, especially one that was brought to life with virtual reality. It was also during the height of the pandemic that we launched the exhibition called Curious Atlas with the London's V&A Museum. Of course, with in-person exhibition or launch event completely out of the question, we had to take the press and all of our VIP guests down the rabbit hole fully virtually in virtual reality. How about live events like concerts and other live entertainment? You might have paid attention to the tremendously successful Fortnite concert featuring Travis Scott that attracted more than 12 million concurrent viewers. No stadium can host the capacity like that. There were also a few other fully immersive shows featuring John Legend or The Weeknd using motion capture, delivered onto various platforms, not even VR. There were also a few large-scale music festivals with different DJ stages, like this one hosted on Sansar. And this one I'm particularly excited about as a former student in Paris. The city of Paris hosted its New Year's Eve party in the virtual replica of Notre Dame, featuring Jean-Michel Jarre. And it was extra special for me as and really for the city as the cathedral was still reeling in the aftermath of the fire in 2019. And to be able to go inside Notre Dame virtually, to be in the presence of Jean-Michel Jarre and celebrating with fellow music lovers, welcome to the other side. That was such a magical experience. In the following 10 minutes, I will highlight a few more examples of how VR has played a role in remote collaboration, in learning, and healthcare as well during this extraordinary time. First up is remote collaboration. This new normal of video meetings like we are doing today may have caused many people Zoom fatigue, but collaborating spatially could be extremely productive. Before the pandemic, we already knew that VR was playing a very meaningful role in product development, such as accelerating the time to market for Bell helicopter by 10 times, or using spatial tools to facilitate prototyping and ideation. But once the lockdown began and nobody had any access to the office, VR started to be very essential for some of these design and product development teams. Since clay modeling and in-person collaboration was just not available at all. Here's Ford's design team, for example, each of the members will issue a VR system at home, and they can collaborate from their own living room to view the early sketches of the models, which was a race car project that they were working on. They could review the cat models, they could render the vehicle interiors together from the driver's point of view. And here is a snapshot of scientists and researchers using virtual reality to explore a SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus mutation up close. With VR software and Nanome, at the molecular level, it has been pretty amazing to see how the spatial understanding can also play a role in helping the scientific community to better understand this devastating virus. Finally, there are meetings. We developed this VR collaboration tool called Sync to help our internal team stay better connected. I will show you a sneak peek of Vive Sync, which many of us at HEC have spent countless hours in with our colleagues from different parts of the world to collaborate, to co-create memories. But even with external partners, we do pitches to press, to customers inside Vive Sync as well. You can make all these personalized avatars from a selfie. Of course, there are non-VR access available on mobile, on desktop as well. Here, I'll give you a sneak peek at Vive Sync. So tools like this have really helped us, and I hope that many of you will give it a try and explore different immersive and spatial collaboration software as well to see for yourself the magic and benefits of that. The next step is on the topic of learning. With a 5-year-old daughter at home who had to go through an entire year of virtual kindergarten on Zoom, I really wish it was possible for kids like my own to walk into their own imaginary world and to be able to learn everything with all of their senses and to feel a sense of closer connection as well with their friends beyond a square on a screen. We're starting to test VR in a classroom setup in different parts of the world. And the early research on retention and student engagement has been super encouraging. In fact, Russia has recently deployed thousands of VR systems to enhance the understanding of complex subjects for youth as a government project recently. And they do plan to ensure that every single classroom in Russia will have access to VR by 2030. And training, next up, is a very well validated use case of virtual reality. We're all very well versed about that, whether it is hands-on training like firefighting in hazardous environments with flame systems, or soft skills training like leadership skills, empathy building with Tailspin. The simulation aspect, whether hands-on or soft skills, continues to be very, very effective at VR in increasing retention and engagement. And it's becoming so much more scalable for deployment as well. Axon is a global leader in technology products for public safety. I love their mission that they're trying to make bullets obsolete for public safety. And we have recently partnered up with them to launch their VR simulation system that allows officers to walk through dozens of realistic real life scenarios. So officers can better prepare themselves for conflicts, for training their de-escalation tactics and build empathy to save lives. What a powerful use of VR technology. And Miami Children's Hospital research recently on their medical VR training shows 80% of retention rate after 1 year, compared to the traditional methods that deliver 20% after just 1 week. So there are various different research studying different aspects of VR retention engagement. But I sure hope that in the near future, my kids and everyone's kids will be able to go on virtual field trips in all corners of the world. Not just that, but maybe going back in time to visit the mammals and to the space and to places otherwise not possible for them to travel to in real life. While we're on the topic of healthcare, let's discuss the therapeutics and healthcare applications, which are some of my personal favorites. You might have already heard from the Penumbra CEO, Adam, during the festival about the real system, which is using VR to help stroke patients with their path of recovery. There were also plenty of other therapeutic use cases during the pandemic, especially when it was difficult to access in-person care for vision therapies, physical therapies, and so much more. And one of the most impacted groups, as we know, during this pandemic has been the senior communities, older adults that are living in assisted living facilities or at home, whose isolation was really critical in ensuring their safety and health, but also exacerbating their sense of loneliness and other mental health issues. So this is another application of VR that I'm very, very excited about. Another one of Vivex companies in our portfolio. They specialize in bringing VR for senior citizens for their therapeutic and recreational use, helping older adults to feel more relaxed, like strolling in the lavender fields, or more energized, sitting at the front row seat of a Frank Sinatra performance, or to get more social in interacting with one another, or benefit from reminiscence therapy by reliving some of their treasured memories. This has become a very important topic as well, especially during this time. I just feel so incredibly grateful every day to be inspired by and to have an opportunity to support many of these XR technologies and applications of VR that connect us better to the people we care about, to the work that matters most to us, and even to ourselves. And so to those of us on the front line, building and enabling, it is also our responsibility to make sure that these technologies are designed to be inclusive for everyone, including those differently abled. Because alone, we can do so little. And together, we can do so much. So let's all come together to build XR technologies as a positive force for society. So thank you very much for listening tonight. And I'd be happy to take questions in the Spark Q&A room.